he blatantly gave me the most direct piece of feedback, which was, I've seen many platforms like you, and they have all failed. How are you different?
Hey guys, welcome to the UpNext podcast, where we are interviewing teen entrepreneurs that are making it big time in the startup world. We are asking the questions we know you want to hear. UpNext is an app made for teens where anyone can join or build a real-life startup.
Okay, our guest today is Ryan Lim, age 19, from Singapore. He is the co-founder of Curtable. They match businesses to the most talented student designers. They really vetted for their expert panel for our peace of mind. He is also the leading market manager at Amazing, which is Amazing, leading a diverse team that's responsible for all the aspects of marketing, public relations, all of that for a promising, fast-growing B2B retail tech startup. Ryan, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear more about you and all the wisdom that you've earned. Is there anything you'd like to add before we get to it?
No, I think you pretty much got it spot on.
Great, thank you. Okay, so how did you know that Curtable is something that would work, that people want this?
So previously, when it's kind of like a year ago, when I was interning, I was interning for a bank. So the innovation accelerator of a bank. So called the FinLab, the bank is UOB. So while doing part of my internship, part of my role was to take care of partnerships. So part of my role is I need to go and source for tech solutions, source for solution providers, to service the SMEs and the startups that were basically under the bank's portfolio. So during my search, when I was searching for a content creation solution, I realized that the market was not, you may think that there's a lot of solutions on the market, but actually they're quite similar. So it's either you have a agency that costs an arm and a leg, that's not very accessible to SMEs, but take care of majority of the things that an SME will want. Or the other side of the equation is use a platform like Fiverr, Upwork, or any platforms like solutions that can give you like a remote freelancer, but you're not sure of really the type of quality you're going to get from them. So when I was researching on the two, I found kind of like a sweet spot in the middle where really like my position as a student could really benefit. So basically having the students in our platform wanting to gain experience and also the SMEs or startups that want the content creation done, we found a good fit, or at least a product market fit between these two basically communities. So that was how Curatable was founded, when we found that match, and we started off gaining some traction, speaking to a lot of businesses, speaking to a lot of students, and we realized that this was a solution that like actually people were considering. So that was how it all started.
Great, that sounds like an amazing process. And throughout the process, did you find yourself with a mentor, someone that helped you throughout this journey?
I think definitely during this journey, I had many mentors. So the journey is not a very long journey as of now, but I think throughout the journey, I had many great mentors. So my ex-bosses at the FinLab were very supportive of me doing this while I was interning, as well as like my current boss at AI Amazing, June, which is very supportive of this the startup that I'm running on the side as well. But I would say that the one mentor that has really opened doors for me is Rusty. So Rusty is the co-founder and CEO of Reactor School. So they are entrepreneurship education startup in Singapore. So actually, when I when I told him the idea, he blatantly gave me the most direct piece of feedback, which was, I've seen many platforms like you, and they have all failed. How are you different? And I think that type of advice, the really direct advice, really got me thinking. And rather than taking it like an insult, it really got me thinking. It's like, how am I going to make sure that Curatable survives? How am I going to make sure that what we actually have is a product market fit? And how are we going to really execute to be able to make this a successful company? So I think Rusty is definitely one of the mentors that I value a lot. And yeah, I think he's definitely one of the mentors that I would say has imparted a lot and really opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah, I'd say that he really asked the question of questions, which is how are you different? How are you better? Why am I going to choose you? Which I'm sure, you had your answers to.
So how much time did it take for you to build this product that you launched? I'm sure you launched it a couple times, but tell your story.
So something interesting that I've also got out of Rusty and also the other mentors that I've had is the general consensus is don't build a tech platform or don't invest in technology until you've gotten customers willing to pay for it. So I think that's a very great piece of advice. So actually, right, the other piece of advice that I've really gotten is just launch. I mean, no one's gonna know you. Your site doesn't need to be pretty because no one's gonna be there anyway. Just launch and see what happens. You can always refine the product afterwards. Right. So actually, our like all the way from the ideation to our MVP took about 3 months. So we only took that site, took the amount of time to speak to a lot of customers, speak to a lot of SMEs, a lot of students, a lot of mentors. And that time was only spent in speaking. The creation of our platform only really took like 10 days. So we so I built the whole platform on Wix. And I think that the advice was also make money before you spend money.
Well, that is a saying that I will take with me. That's totally words of wisdom right there. I do agree that, you know, you can make the product and you can just put it out there, see what happens. Maybe the traction's good, and you can also do the research, gather the audience, and then be like, hey, follow me. I got all of this stuff. I want you to, you know, I know you want to use it. So, and how much money was needed to build your first version, if any? And what do you recommend to those who are flat broke?
Yeah, actually, I spent like $20 buying the domain and like $25 for like the first month of Wix. I guess like paying for the first month of Wix. Yeah. So like actually to even build the product, we built it on Wix. So we know Wix has a free trial. So like we didn't even pay for like the first month or 2 months of running this company. It's only when we really wanted to, you know, seem professional, look like we got it all together. That's when we actually paid for the first month of Wix. So I think, but actually our first customers were not like didn't come from our website. Our website was just a place for us to store the information we needed rather than like a pitch deck. So like I would say that the advice is if you don't have the money, just build a page on Wix and make sure that your value proposition is there. Make sure that people are like really like you find the target customer that you want to reach. And you don't even need to start off with a website. You should just start off with speaking to people. Start off with just asking someone, so if I do this, will you buy it? Get their verbal agreement. Then you go find someone to do it. And then you are already getting your first customer. That's already your first piece of traction. So actually you don't need money to start a business.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you already, if you already know that you have those people, then that will drive you forward into actually building what you wanted. So you partially answered my next question. So let's like get the whole entire thing. How did you get those first users and customers aboard?
Yeah, so actually I spoke to a lot of people. So, you know, like leverage on as many connections as you can. So when I was a lot younger, so I used to spend a lot of time in the startup ecosystem. So when I was 14, I would just camp overnight at a co-working space and meet co-founders. So I don't expect a lot of people would be like me. I wouldn't do what I did right now. So, but I would say just put yourself out there, leverage on all the connections you have. So your ex-boss, your friends, your lecturers, your teachers, your people that you know, your friends of friends, even your parents' connections, if they have them, like leverage them, speak to them and get their feedback. Then, so another thing that I did also is when I reached out to my friends and family, like as much as they may not be the best client for me, I just leverage on their connections. So I just told them like, some interesting thing is like, basically I got boxes of name cards from a lot of people, a lot of founders that I've met. So like basically what I'll tell them is, okay, you just leave this box of name cards for me. I'm going to digitize all of the name cards in exchange for me being able to reach out to them. Meaning, so I would just spend like hours sitting in front of my computer, like manually typing away the details on the name card, like the name, the phone number, the email, in exchange for being able to tap on their connection. So I think that was what really got me started, at least landing our first few clients.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems smart. You take one, you get one. As long as, you know, both sides are winning, you're presenting them, you're doing them like a favor here. So
yeah.
What's one mistake that you would avoid?
I would say so far I've been blessed to not have made any major major mistakes. But I think one mistake that I almost did make, and I kind of made like early on, was like I mentioned before, investing in the tech. So like I was gonna want, like my dream was to, I really want to build a platform that was really like totally automated, like the matching process was completely automated, and like everything could be done on the platform, kind of like Fiverr, for example. But when I spoke to one of the CTOs that I knew, so and also when I spoke to AI Amazing CTO and COO, I spoke to them and asked them. So actually, the question I had for them was nothing to do with whether I should build it. My question was, what should I build it on? Do I build it on HTML, or do I build it on another language, or do I go with like no code options? So I straight away asked them, so what should I build it on? Then they're like, are you sure you want to build it? Then I'm like, huh? Why wouldn't I want to build a website like this? Then they basically shared with me that actually engineering, technology, development is all a cost. It's only a cost if you have customers to pay for them. I mean, it's only a cost that's worth it if you have customers to pay for them and people to actually use it. So I think a mistake that I almost made, but I'm glad that I didn't, is that like understanding first that actually the focus should be on your customer, on your proposition before you build tools to further enhance it. So I think that would probably be like a mistake I almost made, but I guess I would avoid.
Yeah, that sounds good. Audience is key. They're the ones that bring in the rest of our productivity, you know?
Yes.
What are 3 traits that you would look for in a business partner or co-founder type of person?
I think it's very interesting because I think a co-founder is a very interesting topic. You know, a lot of people say like, oh, start off by finding good people, then the idea will come. Or a lot of people say that, oh, when you find good people, then you'll be able to do something. But I think my mentality on this is that if you have an idea, it's good enough. You find people that, one, are reliable, that you can trust, that you know that this person shares the same sentiments as you or work style as you. Second is complementary skill sets. It's very, very crucial that you have someone that can catch your blind spots, that knows what you don't, that is able to do what you can't. Yeah, and I think the last one is a bit of an interesting one, which is like you know when to have fun. So I think that a lot of people think that, oh, like, you know, I'm in the startup world, I really want to like, I just want to get my MVP out, I want to get all my Tencent songs, I want to get all my the data there, I want to get customers. But you know, sometimes it takes someone else to be able to have fun, or be able to, I guess you can have fun with, to be able to have the most creative ideas, or to be able to have the most innovative solutions or responses to different things. So I think at least that's for me one. So this person that I work with has to be able to have fun, or be able to, I guess, click with me, or we're on the same like frequency, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're together so most of the day, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
talking most of the day. There has to be a fun aspect in there. I actually love that trait. I don't think I've heard that enough, that you need someone to enjoy yourself with. That's like basics. I totally agree. So you're 19 and you're currently studying business. You got a lot going on. You're working here, you're doing the startup, you're studying. What would be one advantage and one disadvantage that you find being an entrepreneur at such a young age?
I think maybe I can share with this, share about my experience, like I mentioned earlier. Actually, I was in the startup since I was 14 years old. Like, you can imagine a 14-year-old kid in the startup ecosystem. Yeah. So I feel like even from then all the way to now, I think a lot of the things are similar. So I think one benefit or advantage of being very young in the startup space is that a lot of people entertain my questions. So like you are allowed to be dumb. You're allowed to not know what you're talking about. Kind of, you're allowed to ask all the stupid questions that I guess you would, as you grow older, people would expect you not to ask.
Yeah,
so I guess when you're young,
very curious. You're just curious.
Yeah. So like, I mean, a lot of people are more inclined to entertain a 14-year-old running around a startup ecosystem space, and I think also a lot more people are willing to share like a lot. So basically, they're willing to share things that they wouldn't share to someone that might steal their idea, or that might benefit off the information they're telling them. If you're a 14-year-old kid, you're kind of like you're not really a threat to them, I guess. So I think a lot of founders that I spoke to when I was younger, all the way until now, were more inclined to share things to me that they wouldn't even share with their own staff members, because I mean, what would I do with that information? Yeah. So I think that is one of the advantages of being young, and is being able to have those questions and conversations, being able to get that guidance at the same time.
That's great. It is true. I mean, some people sometimes don't even notice that they're talking to someone so young until they like actually
Yeah.
focus in on it. So would you say that there like isn't a disadvantage like at all?
No, I think there is definitely a disadvantage. I think that you will. I think once you start your startup, or once any young person wants to start doing something serious, there's always a disadvantage in doing that. I think one is definitely, oh, you're not getting taken seriously, either by clients or investors or even by your parents. Oh, my parents always told me when I was younger, like, hey, you're so young, you sure you know what you're doing, you know? I mean, that I think my rationale then was like, at least I'm not going to do something that's like what, like drugs, or like I'm not
Yeah, I mean,
doing something
I
illegal,
want
I
a
guess.
company. I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah,
think
that's why.
that sometimes people think that a disadvantage, like being young, is a disadvantage, but the young ones are the ones that, you know, they're the tech ones. They know what's going
Yeah,
on, they know what people want. And especially if you come at a young age and you're like, hey, I have 10,000 people wanting this, then they're going to forget how old you are. Like, I'm sure.
exactly. I think that's definitely something that I face like, but there are still like, I mean, definitely the working world is still filled with adults and older people, and like I think not getting taken seriously is something that I have like repeatedly um like felt over the years. So I think that it's kind of like a give or take, you know. It's like, do I want to be seen as like not a threat so I can learn more, or do I want to be taken seriously so people actually trust my idea? But I think that at the same time, it's like meeting clients, meeting investors. Like people are like, are you like the intern with them? No, I'm the founder. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there are days where it's like you feel yourself, you feel good about it. Like, yeah, I'm the founder and I'm younger than you and whatever. And there are days where you're like, yeah, I'm the founder and now they're gonna roll their eyes or whatever. So it really depends on how you present yourself and how others take what you're saying and you know how
definitely. And I have gone into meetings where I say, no, I'm just a sales guy. You know, I'm just a sales intern. You know, I think sometimes that works. But yeah,
yeah, sometimes it changes their perspective and they're like, wow, this sales guy knows his stuff.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what would be a tech tool that you can't go without? What's like a website, an app, a platform? Take your pick.
Mm, I think that one of it would be, okay, like I would say Excel or like Google Sheets, but aside from that, like maybe something more interesting would be like or like my email, you know. But okay,
Yeah.
maybe something more interesting is like I like to use Notion. So Notion is like the note taking and productivity app. So actually, I run both my teams on Notion, both the curatable team and the AI amazing team, and even my own personal life. So me and my girlfriend have a Notion where we track like dates that we go on,
Oh, that's
and
so
like
cute.
yeah, so like the books we're reading, or like dates we go on, where what are the things we want to do. So I think that like my life really like is built on Notion. So it like really keeps my life organized. So
Yeah.
my teams, like when they want to submit work or they want to get approval for different things, they will submit it through Notion. When they take notes, it's on Notion, and basically everything's in one place. And I like that. And Notion has that ability to store a lot of different things in it.
Yeah, there are so many different like productivity, organization, websites and apps, and it's like it just makes everything look so nice. I mean, I know what you mean. You have to have like it all in front of you, and it makes your day look more attractive.
Definitely. But I
So
think I think also like when you use an app like that, I think it's only good if you actually use it.
right, you can't just be like two little sentences. Check, check. I did my stuff. No, like you need to know all of its bells and whistles to actually like enjoy it. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, sometimes I'm still like with you know the old fashioned
Yeah,
journal.
I mean, I guess it's what
Calendar.
works for you. Like a lot of my team members also like to use pen and paper because that's the best way to think. No distractions. They like to see what they're writing. They like to draw. So I think it's like ultimately it's what works for you. It just Notion happens to work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great. Um,
So, which entrepreneurs inspire you the most these days?
I think recently I've been listening to a lot of podcasts because like so I'm a person that likes to read. So since young I like to read. But I mean like if you think like oh young entrepreneur, oh he likes to read about finance, he likes to read about rich dad poor dad. I mean I'm not like I used to love like fantasy novels. So like even now like I still read, but I'm starting to find less and less time to read. So recently I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, like motivational podcasts. Like I think one I can recommend is the Mindset Mentor. It's a very good podcast. And even like other like entrepreneurs that has inspired me are entrepreneurs that have started like when they started off their startups, they had to balance school with running a startup. Because it's only when you are in a position where you have to do it, you realize how much tougher it actually is. You can't need to balance both worlds. Like when you're in school, people don't understand that you're running a startup, that you have clients to meet. People don't see that this is the responsibility that is on your back side. So like people are like, hey, like, oh, sorry, I have to go for a client meeting. Ah, no, we can go to the movies, we can go get a drink. But, I think it's that balance. So I really respect entrepreneurs that have come off, like started their startup while they were a student. And even more so the ones that completed like their degrees or completed their education with the startup still running.
Yeah, some people don't realize that you have this like double life, and
Yeah.
then with this you're on to the other side of your day, and it's a really important factor. And I actually like the fact that you read fantasy books to like run away from the whole stiffness of
Yeah, I think that definitely is. I think that sometimes you need some time to like disassociate and don't take life too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're in like some kind of other dimension. You never know. So you said before that a co-founder, business partner person needs to help when you are your weakest, things that you lack, that they should, the one that completes you. So what is a trait that you feel is your weakest and you need to outsource it?
I think it's a bit ironic considering that Curatable is a very creative centered, very design centered, like matching platform or company. I'm just not great with design. It's kind of ironic. Like I like to look at it. Like I know like what's not nice and what's
Yeah,
nice.
you have
but
the eye.
yeah, but like when it comes to executing or when it comes to doing or giving like very like technical feedback or like what, it's just not really my thing. Like I can do it, but I wouldn't say I'm the best at it. So I think back to that question, like, or back to the previous question where we mentioned like, oh, the type of co-founders I find is the complementary skill sets. So I think my co-founder I started off with Michelle. She's a great designer. She was also a fellow intern. I realized that actually her designs are great, and I think we share a similar mindset. So even my marketing manager at Curatable, my head of creatives at Curatable, Teresa Aurora. So like they are very well versed in like design terminology. They know how to give good feedback when it comes to graphic design or like creative stuff. And like I think that is the my trait that like I kind of need to outsource to them. I need to rely on them a little bit to compensate for me not being the best at it. So I think that is probably a very ironic trait to have.
Very ironic and very honest. Because it's so ironic, I'm happy that you still stuck with the answer. And like, I know I'm not the best. It's good to know.
Yes.
So let's say I'm an average teenager looking to build a startup and I have $100. What or where or how would you tell me to use that money? If anything.
I think like to consolidate what I mentioned just now, I would say like use $20 to get a domain, use $25 to get a first month of Wix, and then use the remaining money, so like $55 to buy people coffee. Like invite someone out for coffee and you pay for their coffee, like $2.50, $5. Even like, you go to Starbucks, and I'm not sure how much the coffee is, whoever is watching.
Networking right there. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Use the money to go and buy people coffee and then have good conversations, meaningful conversations with these people. Just drop them a text. Most of the time, if you're young, people are willing to entertain you. Make sure you give them value as well. Like invite them out for lunch or oh, just ask for like half an hour of their day to buy them a coffee, to have a chat with about your idea or about what advice they can give you from their experience, whether it's a co-founder, whether it's a high-level executive from a company, whether it's a potential client, even like ask, like sit down with them and get to know their needs or what it's like in their industry. So I would say just use the rest of the money to buy people coffee.
That's such an original answer. I want to like quote you. That's great. So, next question. How important do you think it is for young entrepreneurs to think about social change when creating a business?
I think when it comes to social change, I think it is only important if it motivates you. So like there are a lot of people I know, a lot of my friends, even myself, like I'm very passionate about like um education in poverty-stricken nations. But like it only should be what you should care about when it comes to a business if it is what motivates you. So I would say that if you really say a business, you really care about sparking change, education, for example, or helping the ones that are in need or at-risk children, like only do it or think about it, really care about it. If you know this cause is what's gonna motivate you to get out of bed the next day, to really build this startup, to talk to a stranger, to talk to people that you might not know. So I think that it's only important if it's motivating you. Yeah. So I guess like it's like social change on that, sorry, on that aspect, like the reason for starting Curatable is not like to impact the whole world. It was for me to impact fellow students, to give them the opportunity to build their portfolio. Looking for a graphic designer that is a fresh grad but has 15 years of experience, it's that mentality. So what sparked me to create Curatable was to give opportunities to fellow students, but ultimately it's what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally agree with that. Once you find something that makes you want to push it forward, then sometimes it comes hand with hand, like with a business.
Yeah.
If not, then sometimes after building the business, you feel like, hey, I want to give back, and that's when it lands on you. So I think there's always like a point in time where you say, I'm gonna make a change, even if it's just, for the inner side of me.
Yes.
Okay, so last question. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would you pick?
I have two answers, but they're all kind of, so one is more interesting than the other. So okay, so one of my answers is like I want to teleport or like pause time, because as an entrepreneur, like you're balancing a lot of things, like it's not enough, just really not enough hours in a day. I sleep like 4 5 hours a day already. So it's like so it's like I think one is the efficient or the boring answer is to be able to pause time or teleport. But I think my more interesting answer is to remember what I've forgotten.
That's genius. Never forget anything. What did I think about? Right, that. Just like right off the bat.
Yeah, because when you walk into a room, sometimes like, what did I forget about? I know there's something there, but like.
Or like you enter
a
room and you're like, why did I come here? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So like that would be my superpower.
That's very original. I don't know how we would like fight crime and save people, but we'd be saving ourselves a lot. So that's the most important.
Right.
Even though I always pick teleportation, to be honest. If I want to be like, I'm in Hawaii, I'm back home.
Right.
So either way,
efficient.
I'm helping myself. Well, Ryan, it was great getting to know you and this amazing platform that you have. I can't wait to hear more about what you do next. And I hope that we can have another talk soon.
Definitely. Thanks.
Sure thing.